This is Friday, August the 8th, 2025. And the market opened today. Looks like more upward momentum this morning, as you see here. So this was the initial candle and it continued up. So this is the reason why I like to get in as close to the open, especially when we have a major point of entry that could take place somewhere on this candle. And as long as you're on this candle, you're pretty good. So I actually got in about here, which was still on that candle. It was a little bit after that candle had ended. So it was mainly about the bottom portion of here. So I actually did move up in profit because, it looks like a little bit of a trend. And so what I tried to do today was, instead of getting out like I normally would have gotten out on the 1 minute, as soon as the 1 minute hit the close outside of the 20 EMA, which is the yellow line here, I would have gone ahead and gotten out. But today I did not. I kind of tested to see how far it would go uh up before I got out. So let's say I got in about here, because I got in on the break of this candle. I waited for two successful closes above the 9 EMA. And as you see, this is my orb. And we had a break of orb, a slight retest of orb, and then it did continue up. So, not knowing ahead of time where it would go, I guess entering for two positions here and then allowing it to go up and take at least one profit, one take profit here would have been a better move. What I did was I entered here with one contract and then I waited for a pullback, put another position in here, but unfortunately the trend went against me, and the second position I put in went into a negative. But it wasn't much of a negative because I was already up with the first position that I entered down here. So there was only a slight loss of about $21 here. So as you see, SPY actually went up pretty well, went up pretty strong, and we were up in profit. But unfortunately the second position, although it was kind of up in profit as well, it kind of snagged back against me and took me out in the negative. And of course I try not to trade more than 1 to 4 times a day. I don't go in swiping out the market. I like to come out, I like to reset, and I'm trying to practice the discipline of going in, doing the attempt, one, maybe two, sometimes up to 4 times, depending on how successful I was with the first couple of moves. So, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I think the move was still solid. It just was not a day that was a strong. But the lesson learned would be, next time if I was going to break out, I think I'm going to start my first position as a two contract position with a take profit at the nearest resistance, which was this um, previous day high. And then once that previous day high hits, kind of move up in profit slightly on that last contract, and then just let it see what it would do at that point. And if it takes me out, it takes me out, worst case. But I'm still going to stick to not getting out until after it uh, comes and closes outside of the 20 EMA, which is here. This is where I got out of the second position, which it came down, tried to look like it was coming back to, looks like it came back to pre-market high, slightly retested it, and it came back up to where it was again. So that was actually another entry where you see it pull back here, and then on the break of this candle's high here, that could have been another entry to get in and just ride it right on back up to pre-market, because it's pretty much consolidating. It's not a lot of strong moves today. So today was a more solid move than previously. So That is it. And I'll go back and explain the reasoning behind me following my profit. On average, I'm gonna go based on the 5 minute. Uh as you see here, this was yesterday's movement. And as you know, I got in here and I got out prematurely. I stayed in based on this wick because I'm thinking, hey, they're coming to take this wick out. And I don't think that's bad if you have two contracts. But then I see what when they say keep a runner, keeping a runner is very strong for you because you come out of one and you're in profit. And even if that second one that's not in profit uh kind of ran on a little bit further, at least you went out with at least one contract at a major support or resistance, whether you're going to the upside or the downside. So this one I missed a lot of movement. Getting out around about here, as you can see, it came, retested the 9. But if you look at it on the 1 minute, it did more than retest. It closed inside like I want to say at the 20. When I saw that, I got out based on that. But if I would have been using this 9 of the 5 minute versus the 1 minute, the 1 minute is a little bit more sporadic, a lot more movement, a lot more functioning going on. If using the 5 is a little bit more of a stable case when you're trying to follow a trend and stay in profit as long as possible. So as you see, it goes and retests the 9, uh, breaks back out again, and by the time it closes on the 20, you see it dropped further down. By the time it closes on the 20, which in actuality, based on what I just did today, I would have gotten out about uh what is this? I would have gotten out about right here because I would have moved down in profit, and this candle would have taken me out more than likely, and it would have reversed at that point. But as you see, before it reversed, you had plenty of time to catch the profit because it didn't. It came down here. So this is what is this? This is 6:30, approximately 6:30:49. I got in right here. 636. So that's $6 move, roughly. So now you see the power of staying in based on that 9 EMA and the 20 EMA. And you would have gotten a little fearful here, but if you did, you can easily bring your take profit or your stop loss, that is, back down here, stop it off here, maybe move it here and just let it see and keep moving because you see the little consolidation that took place for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 25 minutes. So it drops further down. As you see, this is where your take profit is. You're far away. Then you move down here when you see that first close slightly outside of the 20, which is the yellow line, but it was beneficial to move that down and bam, would have gotten out. So I went out in profit yesterday, as you know, but I saw where I had room to not be fearful, to just let the trend do what it's going to do, which is what I did today. It didn't move as much as it did yesterday, but getting used to the movement of it against the EMAs really helped today, despite the fact that the later position that I entered did not, it kind of was the reason for the loss today. So if I wouldn't have entered that second position on that dip, which the dip happened to be at the high, was another reason why. So entering a dip here, as you see, it pulls back to the 9. Entering in a position here is not going to hurt you because look, it keeps falling from there. So the dips are where I add additional contracts, but I'm going to come out of the gate with 2 contracts minimum when I do a break like that. I think it's more beneficial and have at least one of the contracts take profit at the closest resistance. So that's pretty much how today went, and we'll be back again on Monday to do it again.